So what are some of the things that you wanted to share with teachers?
I wanted to share with them some free applications. There's 7 in particular, and then I kind of differentiated it. I gave some to 5th grade, some to 4th grade. I did different applications for each grade level, and then made a sample vocabulary example that they could use with their students. 2 are presentation for the teacher, the rest are for students to create. And that was kind of my goal, was to find some ways that the kids would be using the words to deepen their knowledge and incorporate technology and some skills that would be transferable way past vocabulary even, but maybe later in life. So we did that. I rolled out just the samples at the summer trainings with Connie, and then these trainings are going into those individual applications a little more in depth. Again, there's 7 applications. We have Smart Notebook that everybody has. Nearpod, that most teachers are starting to be aware of, especially elementary level. Sway is an application like PowerPoint in our O365, and the kids are already working on that in other content sometimes, so Sway was easy to pull in. We have Quizlet that a lot of teachers already know about, but we used it a little bit differently. Book Creator is probably the newest one for them, but very cool for kindergarten and easy to draw. It has a draw feature, so we're taking away some of that keyboarding problems. Kahoot and Adobe Spark. But again, that's 7 in 2 hours. So I'm talking as fast as I'm talking now in the training, and I'm giving them what they need to know to roll it out with their students. We're not trying to make people expert technology instructors. We just need to give them a little bit and say, okay, be brave, take it back with your kids, we'll roll it out. We'll come and support, and we are certainly willing to come help again after that. They can start with their kids right away and get them going on. I'm telling them to pick maybe 2 to take back to their classrooms and giving them some time to ask questions and create some things right there in the trainings. So
we have a clip coming up of you starting with SMART. So let's take a look at that clip.
The first one is these first 2 are SMART notebooks. They are, these are links in here. And you can share SMART notebooks now with simply a link, and it downloads right onto your computer and then opens up. And this one is a synonym-antonym activity that looks like this. It's just SMART Notebook. Everybody has SMART Notebook. If you don't have 18, email me later, but you should have 18. This was, does anybody remember this chart? This is not new. This is probably 5 or 6 years old. This is for synonyms, antonyms. I would type one word in here, and now the students can come and move these words one at a time into the synonym or antonym section. That's all this is. So I would have one template up Friday afternoon if we were going to be switching words. I'd let the students come up, start typing here, and that would give them the list, and they would type in the words. We'd save it on the desktop, have it for the next week. So I'm going to give you this template. It's just for synonyms and antonyms, and all they're going to do is type the words for that week over here, and then they move them as an example. I generally did this whole group to start, and then we talked about why was that word a synonym.
Let's talk a little bit about SMART and SMART boards and SMART Notebook, and you mentioned that those are free, and actually they are not something the teacher has to pay for or worry about how to find, because it is something that's provided through the Pinellas County referendum.
Yes.
So it's free for the teacher, and it is supported by referendum. So SMART Notebook, how do teachers access it? Do they know about it? You said something about Smart Notebook 18. Go a little bit more on like where they would actually get it.
Most teachers have a version of Smart Notebook on their computers that is pushed out by the county. I've seen some as low as 14. The one that we're rolling out with training right now is Smart 18, and it has some more interactive games that they can create, Smart Lab. We can take them back to 18 very quickly, get them upgraded to quickly through an email. I can send them the code, or their media specialist can actually download it for them. But most teachers do know where it is. They have an icon on their desktop. Whether or not they use the software is a little more varied, but that's what we're trying to show them, that the tools and the interactivity of Smart Notebook is really where they're going to get the biggest bang for their buck.
So we saw one example there, and really the beauty of the SMART system is the interactivity. So I saw you drag a word over, but we want to get to the place where we had students actually
Correct.
touching that board, right?
That's the goal, is to get the students up and moving and not sitting and just being lectured to. They're actually interacting with the curriculum and with the technology there. So the template that I've sent out for that particular one is one that the students would be moving around once it's created, but I also had students create the new ones. I made one template, and then my students that were, even if it were simple words, they can just keyboard those words in the list, save it to the desktop, and then we had it for the next lesson. The second, I had 2 smart notebooks. The second one was an old school shades of meaning for words that we've always done, whether it was on paint chips or in a notebook. I just happened to have a digital version of it. I made a whole group lesson with it, and then gave them some options and kind of made the rigor a little bit harder each time they were in the different paint chip vocabulary one. So there were 2.
And so you showed those, and then there's also some really great games that are just easy to, you enter the words and the game is made. So.
Correct. The game part of it would come from Quizlet and Kahoot. They would be more not necessarily a formative assessment of any piece, just practice.
Step 6.
Step 6. Step 6, practice, right. Again, these are ones I didn't create Quizlets when I was a teacher in the classroom, and I didn't create the Kahoots, the students did. So not only are they practicing and deepening their knowledge with the words, because they have to go and find definitions or make up their own definitions sometimes. So that alone was deepening the knowledge, and then they could share it with other people and let the other students play. So those were the 2 game pieces, gamifying learning a little bit. So that was a good addition.
All right. So, but within Smart Notebook, there are just lots and lots of different types of activities
Correct.
that they can do, and teachers have been familiar with Smart, and so, but they definitely should take a new look at 18 because Smart keeps getting smarter.
Keeps getting better. And the games that are in there are very quick to create. So I do show them that in the training as well.
Okay.
The 2 templates let them get going with the software. They don't need to be experts with it to use those 2 templates. And pretty soon the kids become the experts anyway on these kinds of things.
So next you did a demonstration using Nearpod, and so let's take a look at that, and then we'll talk about Nearpod a little bit.
Okay.
Again, building context, getting the kids to deepen knowledge. Nearpod is a website that I'm going to go back to in a second, but I want you to see what it looks like first, and then I'll have you go in. And I took them to a virtual field trip to the Golden Gate Bridge. Many of the kids can't get to California to see the bridge, or San Francisco to get the bridge. So here they get to go on. Some of the vocabulary word is like catwalk or swabby on the bridge, building the bridges, and they really don't have any idea of how big this bridge is. So now, you know, they can go here and they can look down and see how far up they are. They can look up at the lines, the catwalks that they're on, see the traffic going by and go through. It's like a 360 little view. So this, once I showed them this, all those vocabulary words made more sense. Again, I made this. Students could certainly make this. You could make this. But Nearpod is a wonderful thing that has a lot already created. So we're going to go there next. This is a game they can play. Please read the vocabulary word and match it the correct image. So they would swabby hat, girders, span. So that's just a little matching game you could do. So that would apply certainly to kindergarten, or matching words to pictures that allows you to draw yourself on a catwalk. This was just an example. So now the kids would draw. They can get a pen, pick a color, and they can draw themselves. They can do it with the mouse. On the iPads, it's really easy if you have iPads. Now we're doing non-linguistic representations, okay? But then they hit this little submit button right there, and every student's drawing shows up on your smartboard. So now you have examples, non-examples, which one was good. Start the conversation about you know, which one that you liked, which one you didn't, which one works, what could they do next, what could they improve upon, and it gives them a little bit more language about that particular word.